Natalie Kunsman, MD, and I am a family physician who is also specialty trained in the integrative approaches to our health and wellness. So today's topic is vitamin D. And vitamin D is a vitamin that is essential for so many functions in the body. And I wanted to first explain where vitamin D comes from. Most of us know that there is sunshine that plays a role. So vitamin D at the skin layer, once the sun has hit the skin, is able to convert it into vitamin D, and some of that will be a sulfated form of vitamin D. Now, UVB, so there is UVA and UVB rays. It is the UVB rays that have a lot better propensity for creating the vitamin D molecule, but it doesn't end there. So we will describe vitamin D at the skin layer as vitamin D1, and then it will circulate and store in the liver for when it is needed, and the liver will cleave that and create vitamin D2. And as that finally will get to the kidney will make its final cleavage or addition to the hydroxy molecule and create vitamin D3. Now, vitamin D3 is what has a lot of the functions in the body. So what are those functions in the body? Well, they are numerous. So vitamin D is pretty classically known as being the best molecule that can help process calcium. So therefore, it is particularly important for our bony development. And if we all can remember in health class, rickets was a bony disorder back in the day when vitamin D was quite deficient. So we need it for our bony health. We need it for some of our hormone regulation, and it is a key player in the management of our thyroid regulation, especially if we have an autoimmune phenomenon. Now, to that note, vitamin D3 is an immune modulator, and it is so important that an immune modulator needs to be able to recognize a normal cell or an abnormal cell. And if it's an abnormal cell, we neither need to get rid of it or repair it. And in that regard, this immune modulator becomes a great cancer prevention strategy. So it is used for overall cellular health. Now, vitamin D3 is also important for our brain health. Vitamin D3 is also needed for our inflammation regulation and some immunity, autoimmunity balancing act. So the type of people that I will see in the office very classically, where I am suspicious that there is a vitamin D deficiency, will be somebody who's got osteoporosis and bony problems. I will also see very tired, fatigued, lethargic, fibromyalgic patients, and they are almost always classically vitamin D deficient. I will see creaky, painful patients in the throes of an arthritic phenomenon or an inflammatory phenomenon, and they are almost always notorious D3 deficient. So the first strategy for helping with vitamin D optimization is 10 or 15 minutes in the sun. Now, those closest to the equator will have the best ability to absorb some of the UVB all year round. UVB and UVA are pretty high in the higher altitudes, but when you go to the lower altitudes, UVB, which is the most important ultraviolet ray, is filtered out as you get to the ground. Now also, those with darker pigments will have a more difficult time for absorbing vitamin D. So we need the sun. Vitamin D can also be in fattier fishes, salmon, caviar, cod liver oil. Sometimes we find it in the eggs and the beef family. And then the FDA, many, many years ago, decided to fortify milk and sometimes fortifying orange juice. So we can take it in with some of the foods that we eat. The final recommendation would be if you cannot sustain normal levels within the food family and the sunlight, then you may want to supplement. And a general rule of thumb, if your vitamin D3 is normal, you still want to keep it optimized and consider vitamin D3 2000 IUs daily. IUs refers to international units. It is absorbed a little bit better if taken with K2, or you can find a K2 vitamin D3 combination. A quick little note about calcium. Years ago, we thought we needed at least 1,500 milligrams of calcium ingestion, and that just is not true anymore. The biggest component of what is necessary is the vitamin D3 component, and only about 500 milligrams of calcium, which is very easy to get into our American diet, and typically not needed to supplement with a supplement. The extra calcium has the potential to lie out in the artery, which is unfavorable. Now, if your vitamin D3 is deficient, then you want to consider vitamin D3, again, potentially with the K2, at 5,000 international units weekly. Now, there's a whole other can of worms that we open up if you have kidney disease or if you have liver disease and you are unable to create that compound naturally. So there are people that may need to take 50,000 international units weekly to optimize their intake, but that is not advisable for the average person in prevention. So vitamin D3 can be used as a cancer prevention tactic and is an augmented or cancer concomitant adjunctive therapy for those who are in particular in the throes of prostate cancer or breast cancer. So I hope I provided a good overview with the recommendations. Please subscribe to my channel below, but you may also leave comments of very specific questions where vitamin D may come into play in your own particular instance. Again, I'm Natalie Kunsman, MD, and until we meet again, be well.